Hi guys, right, a question for you. Have you ever watched a video of a trainer either on Facebook, Instagram or YouTube or any other platform for that matter and thought, I wish my dog was that good? Hey look, there they are, the ladies, look. Woo, say hello, what are you hiding for? And I don't know, maybe you've said, am I doing something wrong? How come my dog can't be that good? Or maybe just, am I just a shit dog trainer? Well, unfortunately, there are trainers out there that just simply put out videos where they're showing either their dogs or clients' dogs being absolutely awesome. I'm just going to put this on here. Well, the truth is, no matter how amazing their dogs are at particular disciplines or skills, and they've probably spent years training this, by the way, but no matter how good they are, they're still just dogs. And the dogs can still be a pain in the ass and get things wrong. Now, Claire and I, we've got 4 dogs at home. We've got Sasha, who's a German Shepherd. She's 12-year-old. We've got Ruby. She's a 11-year-old Jackadoodle. I've got Ace, who's my ex-police Malinois. He's 9. And then we've got little Sammy. Now, he's a 4-year-old blind Cocker Spaniel. And he's a bit special. So, trust me when I tell you, all my dogs are pretty good at being knobs when they want to be. Even though I've been training dogs professionally for about, 20 years I think, and in that time I've probably trained with more than 6,500 dogs and owners. And that's in a variety of circumstances, which include police dog training, security dogs and their handlers, and also pet dogs and their owners. And to get to where I am now, and know what I know now, I can honestly say that I've made some pretty awesome cock-ups in that time. And thankfully, I've learned from each and every single one of them. Actually, during this video, I'm going to share one of my biggest cock-ups ever with you guys. I'm Neil Losada, welcome back to Best BBK9, and this is our BBK9 vlog. Say hi guys.
Hi guys.
Okay, perfection. Although some trainers out there may suggest that they are perfect, and most of us may have this as a goal at some point in our life, but none of us really manage to achieve it. But the adventure that we probably have whilst trying to reach that perfection can sometimes be difficult. I'm happy to admit that I've made some mistakes during my training journey, but the one I want to kind of share with you today is probably one of my biggest and relates to my Malinois Ace. Any of you who've ever owned or trained a high drive working lines Malinois will undoubtedly know that they kind of have a predisposition to biting. And apart from moulding it and developing a calm bite, there isn't really much training needed in this area. Unless, of course, you actually want them not to bite, then there could be a shitload of work to be done, to be honest. I've been privileged enough to train at a variety of police dog and service dog competitions, and this includes the National Police Dog Finals on 3 occasions. I've competed against and trained with some amazing trainers, both in the police world and sport world. And I've tried a variety of methods with my police dogs over the years. Some have worked really well and some not so well. As a general purpose police dog, Ace had to learn a variety of disciplines. Now these included general obedience, agility, searching for people, searching for discarded articles and tracking. And then you have the use of force disciplines, which include dealing with public disorder, chasing, detaining a fleeing subject, the emergency recall, the weapon attack, or a test of courage when dealing with aggressive or armed assailants. And finally, there's the standoff, and this is for suspects that are fleeing from the police but then decide to give up. Now, whether we were training for competition or just to work our dogs on the streets, apart from the emergency recall, the exercises that usually went wrong are the standoff. Now, there are numerous reasons for this. You have to remember that the dog is sent to chase a person running away from them. If that person stops and surrenders, the dog is not supposed to bite them. Now that's a big ask for a dog that's chasing them. They're expected to stop and bark at that person, which is known as surveillance, and they're supposed to do that until the handler rejoins them. Now I believe that the difference between a good trainer and a great trainer is a good trainer identifies a problem and develops a plan to correct it, but a great trainer, they anticipate problems and develop a plan to avoid the problem from occurring in the first place. Now luckily for me, I've trained with some amazing trainers over the years, and these taught me to prepare. So anticipating that this exercise was going to cause Ace a bit of a problem, switching from the chase and bite drive during the standoff exercise, counter-conditioned a response that I was hoping would prove to help out in this situation. I actually trained Ace to do something called a circle and bark, and the trigger or the cue to this behaviour was the surrendering of the fleeing person. So during the standoff exercise, the fleeing person would run as if it were a chase and detain. Now this was mainly to ensure that the dog fully committed to the chase. You wanted the dog to be in full drive. Then at a distance of around 5 to 10 meters or so, the decoy would stop running and turn and face the dog, but they had to stand perfectly still. It was this body language that I kind of conditioned to be Ace's cue to go straight into the circle and bark. And to be honest, it worked. It actually worked really well. In fact, I would kind of say it was infallible at the time. Don't get me wrong, my butt was twitching quite a lot whenever we did this exercise, because Ace would always test the decoy's ball, and he would break left just at the very last moment before shooting past them about 5-6 meters and then coming back in to do the circle and bark. The occasion that proved to me that I'd got this nailed on, well, it was during a training session with some trainee instructors at Niagara, and the decoy ran with a bite sleeve, but he turned really late, and when he actually turned to face the dog, Ace was in mid-air with his mouth open, ready for the bite. But somehow, and I have no idea how, Ace turned his face to one side, collided with the decoy with his shoulder, but then he immediately dropped to the floor and entered the circle and bark with no, what we call, aggressive contact during that exercise. I can tell you, when this happened, I was strutting around the training field like a dog with two willies. It was absolutely awesome. My dog was bomb-proof. So, jumping forward a year or so, in 2014, South Yorkshire Police were lucky enough to host the National Police Dog Finals. And we held them at Wentworth in Rotherham, and the impressive Wentworth Woodhouse stately home was to be our backdrop. It was absolutely phenomenal. Leading up to this competition, I'd entered a couple of police dog trials with Ace, and at this point he was only 3, and he was showing lots of promise, and his standoff was working a treat. The Nationals, well, they were on home turf, and the venues were at different areas, but they were all areas where we regularly trained our police dogs. Very foolishly, I allowed myself to think that this could be my year, and I could possibly get some good results from this. Now this was my first mistake, because this put me under a lot of unnecessary pressure. But more than that, I started putting a lot of pressure on Ace, who was still very young and at 3-year-old pretty immature really. Now historically, with all my dogs, 2 weeks before a competition, I tend to refrain from doing any training at all with them to try and give them a rest. But obviously with our day job, depending on the kind of incidents we went to, this wasn't always achievable. But this time I'd started to get nervous, and I kind of put really big expectations of both me and Ace, and because of this, I kind of were picking up on small things in his training. Now these things, they wouldn't normally worry me too much, but now they began to stress me a little bit. And this ultimately led to me training him really hard every single day leading up to the competition. Now this is something I never ever do. Due to all the cuts in the police forces, we were going through a lot of reduction in the dog section, and these kind of competitions weren't being that supported, so we all had to kind of chip in and try and help out. So the day before the competition was due to start, we all went to Wentworth Woodhouse to help set it up. As we drove down the driveway to the large field, which is situated in front of the house where we normally train, we saw a large herd of deer, and they were all grazing on that lawn. Now this is the lawn that we were going to be doing the obedience and criminal round on the very next day. Now, with a large herd of deer, intrinsically comes a large pile of deer shit. There were loads of it everywhere. So you can imagine what's going through my mind. I'm due on to do my stuff the next day after lunch. So what did I do? Mistake number 2. As soon as we finished setting up, I went and did some impulse control and distraction training with Ace. Now the adrenaline was pumping, I was stressing big time because I was worried what he was going to be like on the field, and it didn't stop there. Oh no. The next morning, after we had the morning briefing with the judges to let us know how things were going to run, I buggered off and did even more training. I tell you, by now I put so much pressure on myself and began questioning my training. Nothing I did went right. And I kind of put Ace under so much pressure that it had a massive effect on him. And I got myself into a right tiz. I even questioned whether or not my nailed on standoff was going to hold up. This had never let me down up to that point, so why I questioned it, God knows, but I did. So then came mistake number 3. Probably the biggest one really. I couldn't find a dog handler or a trainer to help me, so I enrolled the help of a cop who I knew was dying to be a dog handler. I knew him quite well as well, he was a keen lad. And I got him to put the bite jacket on so I could just practice the standoff. Now I'd never had an experienced decoy work with Ace before, just didn't believe in it. But my thought process was that, well, it's not even a bite exercise, so it's not going to be a problem. Anyway, I briefed him as to what I wanted him to do, just run off, and when Ace was about 10 meters away, stop running and turn and face him. So off we went, I gave the challenge, he ran off, and I released Ace to chase him. Sure enough, at 10 meters, he stopped. But he didn't bloody turn and face the dog. So without even checking his pace, Ace just hit him at full speed straight into the shoulder and spun him in the air and slammed him to the floor. And then proceeded to drag the poor lad across the ground as well. Now, instead of just leaving it there, I just froze, and all I'd go through my mind was, shit, I've just broken my standoff. All I could think was, what the hell have I done? I need to rectify this now. So then came mistake number 4. I only went and did it again. Yep, I made sure he knew what I wanted him to do, and off he went again. Well, all I can say, fair play to him, the lad was consistent. He ran, he stopped, and yep, you guessed it, again, he didn't bloody stop. And Ace just slammed him once again. Yeah. What a cock up. Honestly, I was in bits now. My head was all over the place. Bloody hell, by the time I rolled up at the competition field, I was absolutely pumping with adrenaline. I just couldn't think straight. And Ace were fine. He just had a whale of a time slamming this lad. He just loved every second of it. And basically, it literally all went to shit from there. And I mean, literally. From the moment I walked on the field, my body language, the tone of my voice, everything was completely different to how I normally have it in competition or in training. And this just went straight down the lead to Ace, and Ace wasn't happy at all. To be honest, when you watch the video of the obedience, I think Ace was kind of wishing he was somewhere else. And then, to make matters even worse, who the hell knew Ace loved deer shit so much? Yep, during all my training, it never occurred to me that I might have to do some form of proofing around deer shit as a distraction. Needless to say, the entire obedience round was absolutely crap. There were a couple of moments when it might have resembled his usual standard, but no, it were absolutely crap. That said, the agility went well. Even the send away, despite all the deer crap, the send away went really well. I was quite chuffed with that.
Yes.
But then we went on to the criminal work, and all I kept thinking about was the standoff and just how much I was hoping that my earlier cock-up wasn't going to mess it up for me. So we started going through it, the decoy ran, I challenged, I released Ace to send him, the decoy stopped and turned, and then Ace broke. He broke left, disengaged, and I thought, yes, here we go. But then, unfortunately, the cock-up that I had done earlier must have put a bit of confusion in his mind, because as he came back in to do the circle and bark, he just gave a really half-hearted, cheeky little nip to the left-hand sleeve. It wasn't even a bloody proper bite, for Christ's sake, but that was it. All marks gone, lost all my marks on the standoff, and I were absolutely gutted. The rest of the criminal work, that went pretty well. Ace slammed the chase and detain man.
Yes.
He slammed the stick attack man. And he slammed the gun attack man. He just loved it. But the training error, well, that proved to haunt me even further. Over the next few weeks, I hammered the standoff to try and correct the mistake I'd caused, but all I seemed to do was make it worse. And later that year, I competed at the service dog competition, and there the same happened, but this time when he bit, he properly meant it. Now I know competitions come and go, and to be honest, it's not the end of the world when they go wrong, but the saddest thing for me was that actually ended up being the last time we ever competed, whether in a police competition or in like an open competition. The dog section got cut really severely, and then we spent the next couple of years applying for our jobs, so that kind of took precedence. And the sad thing is that we really never got the chance to prove to people what Ace was capable of. But as a trainer, I learned a massive lesson there. Ace is really responsive of me, and especially my state of mind, my body language, my tone of voice, etc. And this is something that I'm always mindful when I'm training him and working him. So there you have it. Nobody's perfect, not even us. Even the best of us mess up. But the important thing is to try and learn from it and keep going. With the right trainer, with the right guidance, hard work, commitment, especially patience and consistency, you will get there, and you need to remember that. So even if you do make mistakes in your training and you cock up, even if you feel that there's something that's going to cause a major problem, everything is fixable. Might take a little bit longer, but everything is fixable. So don't fret about it. It'll be fine. Okay? So don't forget, if you like the video, hit the like button or the thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to watch our other videos. Okay, so take care guys, keep safe out there, and I will see you in the next video.